Want a chance to provide input on the Virginia budget? Your chance will come tomorrow. The General Assembly, House Appropriations, and Senate Finance Committees will begin regional public hearings on Governor Kane's proposed 2010-12 state budget and amendments to the 2008-10 budget. One of the hearings takes place at noon tomorrow at JMU. And joining us now to discuss tomorrow's public hearing and the state budget is a member of the House of Delegates from the Valley, Ben Klein. Delegate Klein, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now explain tomorrow's public hearing. What happens at these?
Well, it's generally an opportunity for the money committees, as we call the House Appropriations and Senate Finance Committee, to hear from people across Virginia about the public programs that are important to them, which programs they'd like to see funded, how they'd like to see the budget written as we go into the Assembly for the next 60 days.
Does this help, this public hearing process?
Absolutely. So many people can't get to Richmond during the General Assembly session that it's important for appropriators and budget writers to come out and hear from the people about the issues that are important to them and the projects that are important to them.
Now explain how the process, the budget process, works this year, because Governor Kane already proposed a budget, but Governor-elect McDonnell, he takes office in 10 days, so it's a little strange.
It's a little unwieldy. Our outgoing governor has proposed a 2-year budget, but it will be up to the budget writers in the General Assembly and the incoming governor to provide input as we write the actual budget for the next 2 years.
So does that make Governor Kane's budget, especially since he's a Democratic governor and a Republican-elected Bob McDonnell is coming in, does that make the Governor Kane budget kind of not relevant?
Well, the final product certainly won't be like the version that was introduced. There'll be a lot of changes and amendments to the governor's budget as it goes through, and Governor-elect McDonnell and the General Assembly will provide input and sponsor amendments to the budget to reflect those different priorities that incoming Governor McDonnell will have. So it will be quite different than the version that was introduced by Governor Kane.
So what Governor Kane proposed was actually getting rid of the car tax and replacing it with a hike in the state income tax. Governor-elect McDonnell has said he's not going to raise taxes, so that whole issue, I guess, is out the door. When will we hear from Governor McDonnell on what he would like to see in the budget, which he'll be able to lobby for because Governor Kane will be out of office?
Exactly. Governor McDonnell will be offering his ideas for budget amendments after his inauguration in a week and a half. At that point, you'll see budget amendments be offered by members of the General Assembly reflecting those priorities. You're correct. You won't see him supporting an increase in the income tax or the change to the car tax, but I think you'll see changes in what's getting cut and how those cuts are being administered. We want to make sure that that the cuts are fair, that as we look at the budget, nobody's going to be able to avoid getting hit by cuts, but we want to make sure that they're fair across the board.
Okay, and as you mentioned, with no new taxes in its pledge and a shortfall, there's going to be a lot of cuts.
It is going to be difficult. We're going to have about a $3 billion shortfall to make up, and the governor has said he wants to do that without raising taxes. I don't think there's an appetite in the General Assembly for raising taxes. You know, working families and businesses across Virginia are having a hard time. So we're looking forward to balancing the budget without raising taxes.
All right, Delegate Ben Klein, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And a regional public hearing on Governor Kane's proposed 2010-12 state budget will take place tomorrow at noon at JMU's Grafton Stovall Theater. Persons wishing to speak can sign up beginning at 11 a.m. And now let's send it to Mel in Stanton.